All right, we live, we live, we live. All right. So, welcome to another episode of Masterminds with James Allen. He is I and I am him. Man, today we got a special one, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk to this brother. Let's get it,
Yeah.
man. But before I go ahead and tell you who it is, if you guys are checking out the YouTube, you guys already know who this is. But for you listening on all those audio platforms, let me just go ahead and get this intro, and set the stage for this. Man, very, very talented and special entrepreneur we got in the house today. So, man, let's just go back to this gentleman is born and raised in the H, man, and his love and for the city and for the culture and everything that Houston has provided, man, has inspired him to, start these businesses. But before we even get into that, going back, born and raised in NH, like I said, and then he's, after graduating from, I believe, grad school, he took some opportunities out on the West Coast. He started off, when I started off, but took an opportunity with an ad agency out in San Francisco, and which led to, an opportunity, a position at Pandora, I believe, which is, man, super dope. And then, my guy kept his foot on their neck, and then, went to a regional events manager at Uber. So, man, it's super dope. But I'm sorry, and not to overlook that Pandora job, because, man, he's worked with them all. You name them. I'm talking about McDonald's, Dr. Pepper, Ford, just to name a few. Don't play with them. He's comes highly recommended out here in these streets. And then, man, in 2022, which I'm really excited to talk to H-Town. If you guys listening to this, and hell, beyond H-Town, I mean,
Absolutely. We're talking to the whole country, baby. We're talking to the whole
man, and beyond the country, right? Because you guys have people, Canada. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about the Trill On Wheels.
Yeah.
That, man, it is a bike ride of a sense, entertainment. I don't want to step on it too much, and I'm gonna let him say it properly, and what it is. But, man, without further ado, I'd like to welcome the J. Mark to the Mastermind Podcast. What up, family?
James, man, I appreciate you having me on, man. It's my pleasure. Hoping just to bring some value to your listeners, man. So thank you for having me on. So.
Brother, man, the pleasure is all mine. So, yeah, man, let's get into it, man. I don't even want to play around with it, bro. Man, this Trill on Wheels, man. First, just tell us exactly what it is, because I stumbled and bumbled over this. So, yeah.
It's cool. It's cool. It's pretty. It's a new concept of something. So, I get that a lot. People just trying to understand exactly what that is. So no worries there, man. But it's essentially a party bike. So what a party bike is, it seats between 13 and 16 riders at a time. You're pedaling, you're drinking, you're smoking hookah, you're participating in Trill trivia, you're singing along in trap karaoke. It's a 2-hour BYOB tour through our third ward, which is one of our historical black neighborhoods here in Houston. So
yes, sir.
It's a fun time. A lot of folks come out for their birthdays, bachelorette parties, girls' night out, or just, you got a new man and you want to celebrate him, or you got a new girl, you want to stroll out on the night on the town here in Houston. It's just a perfect opportunity to do it. So, we launched last March and we've sold out almost every single weekend since. So it's just been a blessing.
Man. Wait, I mean, before we dive into this, did you just say a party bike with a hookah?
I figured it out.
Come on, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So my title, my official title, and what's cool about owning your own company, you give yourself whatever title you want.
Yes, sir.
So the title I gave myself is Chief Disruptor.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at some of the guys I really respect, like a Kanye, like a Elon, like a Bill Gates, like all these different activists and these powerful people that I look up to, inspire to. They all have one thing in common: they came through and disrupted something. So my plan with attacking this party bike industry was to purely disrupt the way people celebrate their biggest events and their biggest life moments. And I'm using this party bike as a mechanism. So I wanted just to, really enhance the tour experience. And one of the ways to do that is through hookah. We really love hookah. It's just a fun, chill thing to kind of add on to the vibe. So I figured it out and got that going. So yeah, a lot of folks do that almost every single tour, you know. So yeah.
Man, salute, bro. That's dope. That's dope. And
Thanks.
what was the inspiration behind starting Trill On Wheels? I mean,
Yeah,
seeing it, it's like, oh man, that is a dope idea. And what
yeah,
you're doing, I mean, really highlighting the culture, highlighting the the music, and like you're saying, the hookah. If you're out in H Town in nightlife, the hookah is definitely part of it.
absolutely.
And just really embracing that H Town culture, bro. But I mean, hell, why not start a gym? Why not,
Uh,
a real estate? I mean, you may do some other these things, but
yeah.
but what exactly made you want to be a disruptor in the party bike, sector? Where'd that come from?
Yeah, man. I give all credit and thanks and glory to God. I think it was just a
Yes,
seed that was
sir.
planted in me, and then it kind of just sprouted and became something powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, 2021, my wife and I, found out we were having our first child. So
Hey.
it's an amazing thing to be a dad, but it sparks something in you. It kind of takes the emphasis and kills that ego, and it makes you think about like, okay, I really need to step up my leadership as a man, as a husband. I'm about to become a father. How is that life going to look for him? What examples am I going to be able to set for him? Is my wife going to be able to respect the man that I am? Is my
Mm-hmm.
wife going to be able to depend on me while she's carrying our child? So that's the immediate thoughts I start having. Like, what steps do I need to take to make sure that financially my family's okay, and they
Mm-hmm.
don't have to worry about a thing. If my wife wants to take off and be a stay-at-home mother, or wants to, devote more time to our child, how can I enable her to do that? So I went to the
Mm-hmm.
lab, man, and it really was just like praying, fasting, and thinking through what I can do to really just impact our financial situation in a positive way, but also like tap into some of my interests, my passions, and things that I simply just enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Research and just observing the world and just being a part of life and just living. The idea came to me. I went to the lab, and the night that idea came to me, man, I was in my office, this space right here.
Mm-hmm.
I was there from 8 p.m. to about 5 a.m. in the morning. Everything came to me like a river was flowing, man, with the ideas, the name for Trill on Wheels, adding the hookah, making it centered around hip hop, positioning in the third ward, putting the swangers on the bike. Everything started coming to me, man, and I knew I had something special. So that was in 2021, and it started from me knowing that I was gonna be a dad.
Dope,
Yeah,
dope, man. And man, congrats to you and the wife, man,
thanks.
on the firstborn, bro. Just a side note, question rather is, man, how is fatherhood treating y'all, man? I mean, fatherhood and being a parent. And,
Yeah. I love it, man. It was what I was supposed to be doing. It was what
yes,
I was supposed to
sir.
be doing, man. I lived a pretty wild, rambunctious life. I much rather be on this side of the coin, being a devoted husband and lead my family and spending time with my son and then seeing him grow and just being a part of that life that he's building. So this is where I was supposed to be, man.
Dope, man. Dope, dope, dope. Blessings there, and blessings to you and the wife. And let's talk about that because your thought process was really interesting when you discussed about uh, your thought process of coming up with Trill on Wheels. I mean, you mentioned some dope things that kind of my ears perked up because I do those from time to time, like a fast,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
um, and what is that in that spirituality and the prayer and things of
yeah.
that nature? Like, is that routine for you when you're going through? I mean, kind of have that something inside of you that you're really trying to hone in on and I
Yeah.
guess pull out. Is that a typical process for you, or was this a one off?
It has been, a standard of mine to
Mm-hmm.
where I'm either called to it and I feel like, man, I think I'm straying away. I think I need to get closer.
Yep.
I mean, I feel called to it. Then it's also like me being intentional, where like at the top of every year, I'm doing a Daniel fast, and that's just me being intentional and not and lining it up and planning it out. And I'm about to do it starting on this date. And that was actually, where the space I was in 2021. It was at the top of the year. I was in my Daniel fast, so I'm just intently listening for God's voice, like asking for direction, asking for clarity, asking for help with the situation. Like, man, I want to feed my family. What can what more can I be doing? And that's why I give the thanks and honor to God, because He blessed me with that idea, man, and the idea took off like crazy. I had to put a hell of a lot of work into it. You know what I'm saying? He planted the seed, and it kind of dropped me off, and like, all right, figured it out. But that's all I needed, because
Right.
that's the type of man that I built myself up to be. I'm a super ambitious guy, and when I have a goal, I have no problem with chasing it down till it's done.
Dope. And prior to, I guess at the in 2021, where you start to formulate these ideas and come up with this, are you still in a 9 to 5? Are you a full-time entrepreneur at this point? I mean, kind of tell us where you are at that point.
Yeah, so my focus at that point was real estate. So I left my 9 to 5. I left corporate America in 2019 officially.
Dope.
I cut the cord, I gave it all up, and I dove all the way into real estate, which has served me very well. But to be honest, man, one of the things I kind of just learned about myself along the way was that I really wasn't passionate about what I was doing. It was a lot of it was ego. Cause I'm able to walk around and, talk to different real estate investors and talk about, this last check that I made on a flip, or, people are coming to me for advice, and that's kind of filling me up. Cause I'm able to kind of talk to them about like how to do this specific real estate transaction and all that stuff. So, but it was really just my ego kind of driving me, and I really wasn't finding true purpose and passion in the work that I was doing. But it was feeding us, you know what I'm saying? Like I made, really good money. I made more money doing real estate than I was on my corporate job, which allowed me to be able to walk away with no issue. So that's the space I was in. I'm doing these deals, and I'm working in this space, but I know that wasn't it for me. I knew there was more impact that I can have on just a broader range of people. I knew that I could truly have something that was meaningful to me, something that I can pass down to my children, and something I can really just be proud about it and also enjoy, like have fun with, So that's the space I was in 2021.
Dope, man. I mean, yeah, because that jump, whenever, I don't know. Well, let me ask, because I don't want to assume. How was that jump for you? Was it just a no-brainer? I mean, cutting that cord, so to speak, or was it? I mean, were you nervous? And how was the wife, and how the family, your people around you? How was all that? Because I made the jump too, and yeah.
Yeah, it's not something easy. At least it wasn't for me.
Nah.
So I felt all the emotions. I felt all the feels, bro. Going from the nervousness of, things are good now, but what if there aren't? And I don't have the steady check in. The tangible items, like what I'm supposed to do with taxes now? Like I don't get no W-2. Like how does that work? So it's just like, and then the excitement of, man, I'm my own person. I'm my own boss. I can control my income. I can control my schedule. My expectations and my goals are only built around my desires versus, feeding somebody else's flame. And that's essentially what we're doing when we are, an employee. So I felt all the feels. I don't push anybody any direction. You have to go towards what suits you best. But because I've always been like this, a very independent, overly ambitious, this self-starter, entrepreneurship is like a really, really natural fit for me.
Man, you said a lot, bro. A lot of interesting things, man. And I really want to go back to that comment you made about the death of the ego, man. It's true. I mean, it's one thing that, particularly us as men, that we need to kind of keep in check and stay on top of as much as possible, and have the right people and family around us to help us with that as well. But also too, do you really believe like in anything we do there can't be ego? I mean, like, because there's as an entrepreneur, there's it's to me that's got to be like, a little bit, some of it in there at all times. But do
Yeah.
you ever think it is complete ego free?
I don't fully know the answer to that, and that's something that I'm searching
That's
for, and
real.
I'm doing healing and working through myself, honestly.
Yep.
But what I can say is that confidence is important. You want to be ultimately confident in your ability and your skill set, and know exactly the value that you can bring.
Talk about it.
I believe I can believe that you can be a confident person and be separated from making ego-driven decisions.
Mm.
I do think that they're not all one and the same. But when it comes to ego, I believe when we are so focused on self and we forget to, allow the customer to kind of drive our decisions, or allow
Mm.
our teams to drive our decision, and valuing their input, or being as a husband and allowing, okay, I'm the man. I've been placed in charge of leading, and I'm not going to depend on my wife for input and help. I think that's where we go wrong at. And that's what I'm trying to focus on and getting better on this year, is really just making sure that the decisions I make, I feel confident in those decisions because I know
Mm-hmm.
that it's the right thing, and it's either data driven or it's backed by just the feeling I have in my gut.
Mm-hmm.
But I also want to make sure that it's not solely for the purpose of serving me, that I am serving the greater good with every decision that I make, that I'm serving my business and doing what's best for the business versus what's best for Johnathan, or I'm serving my family and my friends versus pulling and needing them to feed my ego.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at. I don't have it all figured out, but I am proud of myself for being aware enough that there's work to be done, and I don't know it all. You know.
Right. Man, I mean, but the way you're talking, man, in general, whether you're an entrepreneur or whatever you do, I think self awareness is key, man. And for you to do that self inventory check, on a regular basis
Yeah, man.
is key, because if we're not doing that on a regular basis, we can venture way off the spot,
Yeah.
and then we find ourselves in certain situations.
Yeah.
Nah, man. So, man, you talking that talk, bro. You dropping gems, bro.
Man, I'm
Go ahead.
trying, man. You know, as I grow older, I'm really just trying to grow wiser, and I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
take in as much righteous knowledge as possible, disseminating the bull, or not disseminating, just getting rid of the bull, and
Mm-hmm.
just focusing on like the food for my soul that's gonna make me a better person. I really uh, aspire to be a leader of men. I want when God calls me down, or hopefully calls me up, excuse me. When God,
Right.
yeah. But when God calls me up, man, I would love to be able to see a flock of guys that say, man, this man led me to becoming a better person myself. Or
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan helped me become a better husband because I saw his example. Or Jonathan helped me become a better dad because I saw how he treated his kids. Or Jonathan helped me become a better business person, or be more emotionally in tune with myself because of how he lives and what the words and wisdom that he gave me. So that's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
on, man. I'm really just trying to be the best version of myself because I believe that God gave me that um that responsibility to lead others. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. Heavy as the head, and
yeah,
man, it's and I think the best, uh, one of the best ways to lead, not the only one, but one of the best ways is to lead by example, man. Just
mhm.
letting your walk speak for itself. So, man, shout out to you there, bro. We're gonna take a slight turn, and because I've heard you talk about it, a couple times already, man. But tell me, bro, what does legacy mean to you? I
Yeah.
see you smirking right when I said it. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I look at legacy, one of the shining examples is a guy that I truly respected is like a Nipsey Hussle. The legacy that he left is amazing. He died a couple of years ago, but
Mm-hmm.
there's so many entrepreneurs, so many just, fathers, husbands, men of value, women of value, so many people that saw the life that he was living the last couple of years of his life, saw the work that he was putting in his community and the impact that he was having through his music and through his interviews. And it inspired thousands, millions of people, man. So that's when I think about legacy. I think about like men like that. I think about women like, Maya Angelou and just this my mother, what I'm saying? Different folks who came to this earth, served a gigantic purpose. It wasn't about themselves. They realized their value, they realized the energy in the spirit that they carry, and they made sure that they touched and impacted the world. That's what legacy building is for me. It's not just about you. It's not just about your family. It's not just about your inner circle. We have opportunities to have broad impact, every single one of us. But are we going to tap into that? Are we going to allow that to really drive our decisions and mold the persons and the people that we want to be? So we got to tap into that, though. That's the charge that I want for everybody.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, that's yeah. I mean, that was well said. I'm thinking when I'm thinking about is I forgot who said it, man. It may have been a Nip interview. He was really saying finding your purpose, and that is really like what life is all about, and it's really about giving to others and what you can do, not necessarily what you can take from people or things or whatever. It's actually how much of a resource you can be to your environment around you is truly what I'm trying to say. And nah, man, I am no cap is Nip is one of the two of my favorite artists. It's him and Jay. Like I said, people want to talk about top 10 or whatever. That whatever can be argued, but when I'm talking about favorite, just whatever. I loved about Nip. I really got hip to Nip around, to be honest with you, kind of late, like around the Crenshaw mixtape.
Yeah, 2013. 2013, yeah.
Right, and so that's really when I started to really pay attention and went back and started checking out everything. But what I love about Nip, he definitely grew. He definitely learned more. Yes, but you look at the interviews from way back when, he was essentially the same person that he was, when he, transitioned. So, yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. He got a really dope story. I think he grew as an artist. I didn't like his early music. I didn't.
Yeah.
That's why it took me so long to kind of like, give him any attention. But his wisdom and his presence and his wise approach to life. You saw that in early interviews when he was a teenager. You know what I'm saying? So it's really just dope to see that. He was always the same guy, like you said, you know what I'm saying? His platform just got bigger.
Yes, sir.
But musically, he got better. Way better.
Yeah.
As time went on, he got way better. Like, okay, bro, now you actually rapping. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man.
Man, shout out to Nip, man. Shout out to Nip. But just a random question I love asking entrepreneurs. Like, do you think now, and I'm going to just start being all over the place with this conversation. We'll come back to some Trill On Wheels, but do you think just in general, it's easier to become an entrepreneur now as opposed to in previous eras? Do you think it is?
Yeah, I think, with access to information like we never had before, I think it's just much easier. Like the gates are
hands
open.
Down.
You can hop on to YouTube or listen to a podcast like yours and just get so much wisdom and game that, if you are already, kind of like on the edge of like really wanting to do your own thing, now you got the tools. You don't have to like, go searching for some random mentor or whatever. You got dozens of mentors. It's at the click of your fingertips. So yeah, it's much easier now.
Yeah, I think it's much easier. I agree with you. I think it's much easier to become one. I think maybe, because information is everywhere. I think I don't know. It could be me being naive, but I think the disparity of the access to the information. I think if you were able to get on there, man, in previous eras, you could really do some damage. Like, you still can now, but I think just because in certain things, like you know, like a wholesaling or something when before it
Yeah.
became very fashionable or
Yeah.
a fad. I think if you were trying to do this, maybe even I don't know,
Nah,
15, 20 years ago, yeah, you were cleaning up because you didn't have a guru on every block. But yeah, I do agree with you there. I do
no,
agree
I
with you there.
agree. Like, yeah, like the access to the information is there. It's much easier to access it. But if you got some type of mentorship or guidance or was told this information in
Mhm.
the 90s, 80s, etc., like the impact you could have had would have been just like quadrupling. Yeah, yeah, exactly, man. Like
Cleaning
I
up.
could imagine, like, if I knew how to flip a house when I was in college, like, man, I got them Pell Grants and all this stuff. I was spending it on rims and going out for drinks. Man,
We
I,
all
I wish I would have flipped a house back in '03, '04.
talk
Um,
about it.
man, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so nah, the impact would have been much greater back then because they, like you said, man, it would have just been a wide open avenue for you just to play around with. Like, hey, I don't got no competition, so.
Wide open, wide open. And man, I want to ask you this because man, everybody listening out there, I've been hounding this brother for I don't know how long, man. He's super busy and much respect him. I really appreciate it because you taking the time out and sitting here for up to an hour is greatly appreciated because
Yeah.
I see you getting to it. But man, with that being said, bro, you got so much going on. You're a husband, entrepreneur, a father. You
Yeah.
wear so many different hats. Do you have any productivity hacks? I mean, how are you going about your day? And well, let me start there. Do you have any productivity hacks, and how do you fit everything into your 24?
Yeah, yeah. So I love time blocking. So
Mm,
living it down by your calendar is simply just like blocking out time where this is solely what I'm focusing on. That's been really helpful. I do like checklists as well. But you need to have prioritized checklists to where you're not just, knocking off tasks in the order of that they're written, actually having like your priorities for the day and then going from, the most important or the most impactful down to the least meaningful. I think that's really important. I also really, really enjoy taking breaks. I think
hmm
that, I was in the habit of like just work until you're done. But what I found, and I think it's called like the Pomodoro technique.
Yeah. Huh. Yep.
Yeah, but essentially, working for a set amount of time and then just like breaking and then coming back to it. I think that
hmm
your sharpness kind of remains, so you're more effective while you're working through those tasks. And you're just giving yourself some grace and some love, during those break times, which I think is really important. So
Absolutely. Yeah. I first got hip to that when people like in my business school and were put me on to that, and they were truly affected by that. It was like
yeah,
20 to 30 minutes work time, then kind of on and off. And yeah, for people out there, yeah, you got to grind, you got to get to it, but we are not computers. So, like you're saying, give yourself some grace, give yourself some love, and don't burn yourself out because, yeah, I mean, you're going to do your best work when you're refreshed and you're clear minded. So, I shout out to that. But man, as I hear you talk, bro, another question just comes to mind is, man, you are truly a focused person, getting to it, ambitious, hungry. Like, where in the hell does that come from? Like,
yeah.
where does that state of mind and that that you talk about, where did that come from? Who was it? That something you picked up on, or somebody instilled that in you, or what?
That's an interesting question because I also kind of think about what's my origin story. You know what I'm saying? Like every superhero got their origin story. Like what's
Yeah.
mine? I don't know if it's clear. I would definitely say that I grew up in a household where hard work was appreciated and pretty much the standard. My dad is from Trinidad. He came here to the country at 18 years old, wanting to pursue a better life, and essentially just work, and that's what he knew doing. My mother was, one of 9 children, and they all grew up on a farm. And, so they're picking pecans and chasing down hogs and doing all that crazy country stuff, So she had that hustle in her since a child. So, I want to give a lot of shout out to my parents.
But I do want to get back to, I have some random other questions, but I really want to get back to the Trill on Wheels, man. Let's get into that. So say somebody's looking into it like, man, that seems cool. I want to check it out, but I may not know much about Houston rap artists, or I'm not sure if that's going to be for me, or whatever. Can you talk about some of the people who may be on the fence or may not know about it, and why that's is something to check out, because it seems dope. I mean, I'm telling the wifey about it.
Absolutely, man. For somebody who's kind of like maybe curious or wants to hear more of their types of music and all that stuff, I totally understand that. We all have our personal likes and wants there, especially when it comes to music and celebrating. But the music and the soundtrack and the playlist that we've created has been curated by some of the top Houston DJs. It is 100% Houston, but it's also 100% party. So you feel the energy. I don't care, if you going to Africa or Europe or, DC and listening to go-go or whatever. You can feel that energy no matter who the artist is, no matter what the sound is or the lyrics or whatever. So the energy is there. It's purposefully and intentionally designed to carry you throughout the journey, to carry you throughout the experience. We were very meticulous in the details, and it starts at a certain point, it ends at a certain point, so the energy is going to be felt. Like, no worries there. But the music is 100% Houston hip hop. We want to celebrate the artists from this city. And you gotta, if you take a step back, like, we got some really, really big time national acts from Houston: Slim Thug, Beyonce, Scarface. Zero, it's a lot of guys who've had, and women, Megan Thee Stallion, there's a lot of folks who have had a national and global impact on hip hop right here from the city. You'll hear a lot of them on our playlist.
Absolutely. And now the reason I said that, because I was just leading into, I saw on some other platform you were on, maybe another interview, you were talking about people have come down from Canada. Checked it out. So no matter where you're from, I think experiencing this is something dope to really immerse yourself within the Houston culture and check it out, because like you said, we do have so many talented artists. Meg, Bun, Slim, all of them, and then just checking out the Third Ward and all of these establishments and businesses and things that are going on there and thriving. I think it's, if you're coming to the city, you really want to see what Houston's about. You definitely got to check that out. Yeah. And but let me ask you this though. So, I mean, I don't, because I know it's like everybody's asking you what's next, and hell, I'm gonna do it anyways. What's next for Trill On Wheels? Because this is a great business model, and is this something that you plan to duplicate into other routes and other things in the city, or expand to other cities? I mean, what's the next steps? Are multiple bikes on the same route? And I mean, what are you guys looking to do there?
Yeah, for sure, man. Once we start seeing, even before we start seeing the success, I knew I had something special. So I laid out a 5-year plan on, the growth and the scaling of the company. We are going to be hyper-focused in really just building our base here in Third Ward and our operations here. We do have bike number 2 coming at the end of this month, or at the end of February, excuse me. So really excited about getting 2 bikes in rotation on our Third Ward route. From there, it's still up in the air on, if we're going to potentially move and add a location here in Houston, potentially the 4th Ward, 5th Ward area. There's a lot of new development going on and all that there. And we really want to celebrate our neighborhoods, our culture. So, that's something to be cognizant of. But, there's also been a lot of family, friends, associates, business partners of mine across the country that are like, this is where you need to be. You need to come over here. You need to be in this city. Even customers, because we get so many customers from around the country. So many of our riders, majority of our riders are not from Houston. And they're always telling us that like you would kill it in my city. You would do so well in my city. So I'm all ears. I'm open to it. I have a couple of strategic markets that I've been eyeing just based off of my ties to those cities. And then also me knowing that we want to be able to celebrate local hip hop artists, so it has to have like a dope, vibrant hip hop scene. And then also it has to be a place where Black entrepreneurship is promoted and celebrated. I don't want to, go into a market where there's a lot of blocks and all that stuff, because it's a little tougher for us sometimes. So
Talk about it.
yeah, so that's something that we're focusing on. But yeah, the sky's the limit. This is what I'm 100% focused on at this point, and I'm going to carry out that 5-year vision until God tells me otherwise.
Let's get it. Now, and also too, when you think about it, you're like, man, we in the dead of winter, but it's Houston. I mean, average temp is like in the 70s, so this is a perfect time. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, if like I said, I mean, we just need that babysitter, but
exactly, man.
we definitely gonna, we definitely, me and the wifey definitely gonna come out and check it out. Definitely looking forward to it, man. So I think this is huh?
I said, no, we'd love to host you
that?
and your wife, man, for sure. Come on.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. No, I got you. Just switching gears again, man. It's clearly noticed that you're a very motivated, ambitious person. What would you say is been a top contributor, to your success thus far? I mean, is it that ambition, that motivation, or is it something else? You would say
grit.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's needed.
Absolutely, man. I think I think all of us were built for success. There's not one person walking around who's just destined to be a failure. I don't think God designed humans to have that, intention. But what I do believe is that a lot of us just give up. A lot of us don't have persistence built into our spirits. A lot of us, lack passion. A lot of us, lack true desire to be successful, which ultimately holds us back. But the thing that kind of separates me from the others, and I think the thing that separates successful folks from unsuccessful people, is grit. Like true determination to finish this project, true determination to push through these obstacles and make something happen. Trill On Wheels beat my ass. Like 2021 was crazy hard. This was not easy to pull off, but I saw the potential in it and I gave it everything I had, and I asked for help. I tapped into resources. I read everything I could. I met with people. I flew here, flew there, called this person, asked for favors. I did everything I could to make sure that I got this thing off the ground because I saw it, but also I was persistently passionate about what I was doing, and that all stems from my grit. Grit has carried me through all these different obstacles in my life, man, and it's pushed me to become, a better person. So that's what it is, man. Grit for sure.
Nah, I mean, well said. Yeah, I think because if someone was to ask me that, I would just be, not. I would have said, not afraid of the failure, but I think that is a part of the grit. So I think that's a better way to even say it is just the grit because. Throughout this travel, your journey, you're going to need it. You're going to take your lumps, your lessons, and you got to be able to persevere. I mean, because guys, success, and I'm sure you can agree with this. Success is not just a straight path. It's not. It's not a straight path, and it's really about the survival of the fittest. I mean, and can you withstand what's coming at you? So, definitely if you're listening to this, I mean, it's super dope what Jay's doing because this is something that is out of the box, y'all. I mean, and like he said, he was passionate about it and gritty, and he stuck to it. See it through.
Yeah.
Expect those roadblocks. Expect those no's. Expect those lessons. I don't like to call them losses. Expect them lessons and get to it. So, man, salute to you there, bro. I mean, I'm really excited and got the second bike on the way.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
man, yeah.
Doubling
Uh,
up the third
and
wall. Wait.
that's dope. And what is the bike route? Pardon me.
Huh?
Because is it still? I know you had a few stops in like 5015 and whatnot. And what is the current bike route for you guys?
Yeah. So it's a 2 hour BYOB tour. We do 2 bar stops at black-owned establishments in the neighborhood. The first stop is at legendary bar 5015. Beautiful outdoor patio, beautifully well designed,
Mm-hmm.
great service, great drinks, great food, all those things. So a lot of folks who are coming in from all around the country, they see 5015 and they're blown away. Like, this is amazing. So we love taking them there first. The second stop is legendary. It's a newer bar, but it's still legendary in my eyes. But it's the Savoy Ice House on Emancipation. It's a great corner right there in the heart of Third Ward. The Savoy, their team is amazing, really friendly and loving atmosphere, great drinks. They got the hookah going, the TVs all around so you can watch the games and all this stuff. So we make those 2 stops. But along our tour route, we're doing, like I said, Trill Trivia, which is hip hop trivia. We're doing trap karaoke. So everybody gets a microphone and they're singing along with their favorite tracks. And then, again, we got that playlist, that booming playlist that's going to have you dancing, shouting to the top of your lungs, hands up, just having a great free time. So, yeah, it's this from start to finish. It's just an amazing experience.
Dope. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Nah, man. And like I said, I really appreciate your time, and I don't want to keep you too long, but I mean, and we've kind of, already talked about it a little bit, and I've heard you, but I like to, towards the end of these conversations, ask. Well, let me back up because I want to ask you another question before I ask you that final one. Is a couple here. So, is there any business advice that J Mark now would tell an 18-year-old Jay?
I would say be the specialist, not the generalist. That's something that I knew about early on. Niching up, really having a focus, drive, and then hyper focusing on a specific group of customers. You can't be everything to everybody. Don't try to be. You're not going to please everybody. Don't try to be. But there is one specific person who loves and desires your product or your service. Build around them because they're going to find lookalikes. And if you can create that atmosphere where that one person feels special and loved and taken care of, they're going to shout your name to the mountaintops and root for you and be your advocate. I wish I would have known that years ago when I was, building. And this is something that I wish I would have taken into my marketing practice because I was doing major campaigns for, large companies and all that. I wish I would have brought that insight. Like, we need to dial in. We are too broad. So that's something that I would definitely tell anybody who's creating a product or service. There are riches in the niches. Go deep into your target and build that product and that service to satisfy her or him. And then from there, the lookalikes will come.
Dope. And with you, that was going to be my next question. It's kind of crazy how you went right into it. But yeah, so with you having that, advertising background, as a small business and, seeing it at a very high level, but then as a, small business owner, what are some ways that you would tell a business owner, a small business owner to really get their name and their brand out? Do you truly believe in the word of mouth and is that probably the number one?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's the number one, but it definitely should be part of what you're doing. You want your customers to speak on your behalf. So a lot of our social media content has been built around tour testimonials. We'll have folks that just got off the bike tell us about your experience, and they're still in that Trill On Wheels glow, and they had a couple of some adult beverages in them, and they're just going out telling people how much fun they have, and they're telling the truth. And now me as a customer, I'm seeing somebody that looks like me having a great time, and I want to experience the same thing that they just did. Now I'm gonna book myself, so that goes a long way. And in this climate, I would rely heavily on influencers, folks who have powerful networks, who are connected to other influencers and have, because that social voice is so important nowadays. That's why you see so many big brands pouring millions of dollars into influencer campaigns, because they know that they can't get the job done with a TV ad or a radio ad or a magazine or billboard anymore. They got to go to these influencers because consumers will listen to an influencer versus, what that influence has changed. They're not going to listen to that TV ad anymore and be persuaded to buy a product. So
Man, that's a fact.
that's something that
That's a
people need to
fact.
rely heavily on. Tap into your influencers and make your experience so dope that people want to talk about you to everybody else. Make it impactful.
Dope, 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 dope. Man, that is a gem right there. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. So, yeah, like I said, man, I like to end every conversation and ask everyone on the platform is, when it's all said and done, what does Jay want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for having a true impact on everybody around me. Everybody that came in contact with me, I want them to be able to walk away feeling better about themselves and what they can do for other folks. That's the type of that's my success metric.
Dope, dope, man. And like I said, man, you putting all that good energy out there, definitely is evident, and it's gonna come right back to you, man. So, me personally, man, I'm excited to see where Trill On Wheels and all your endeavors go, and man, it's just dope getting to know you, getting to meet you, bro. Seeing
Yeah.
little man swinging through the neighborhood,
Yeah,
man, and
yeah.
everything is it's a beautiful thing. But yeah, quick, Jay, if anybody who's going to be checking this out, man, how can people tap in with you and check? And for one, how can they sign up for Trill On Wheels? Where do
Yeah.
they go to do that? And what's that process? And then anybody, an entrepreneur, may want to ask you or be a part of that, or pour into your business. How can they do so?
Yeah, for sure. So all bookings go through our website, trillonwheels.com. Again, that is trillonwheels.com. If you want to get in contact with us, feel free to shoot us a DM on Instagram. We're really active on Instagram and on TikTok, but everything is Trill On Wheels. So definitely look us up. I'm looking to connect with any entrepreneurs out there, primarily in the Houston market, but all over the country. I'm open to just forming connections and just building together. I think that having an abundance mindset is powerful. So I'm not a blocker of blessings. I'm not a blocker of people. I want to bring us all up and rise together like the tide. So yeah.
Let's get it. And for anyone listening to this, all that information will be provided, and it is in the description. So we'll provide all of the links to the website and the Instagram, and then and also to if Jay wants, I can put his directive. If you're an entrepreneur, and in Houston or wherever, if you want to tap in with him directly.
Yeah.
We could put that out there, whatever he's willing and comfortable with. So, for sure, man. Like I said, this has been dope and inspiring, bro. It's really dope to see and hear the mindset and where Trill On Wheels is going, and just the example you said, bro, with the family, being a father. Man, I salute it, man, and man, I can't wait to see where it goes, brother.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, Jay, man. And thanks for having me on, man. I hope that I brought some value to your listeners and your fan base, man. And it was my pleasure and honor to meet you finally and connect with you, man. And let's keep this going, man. Let's keep this going, bro. So, man, just thank you for the opportunity, man.
Absolutely. So yeah, man. And about Masterminds, I'll be excited because we do have a Slack channel with everyone who's been on there. So it's again a whole bunch of entrepreneurs. Yeah, man. We've got other entrepreneurs, particularly in Houston, but not just Houston. Throughout the country that we're tapping in with. So I really want to get you on there. So I'll need to get your information, get you on that Slack, and. Yeah, and man, more to come, man. This is just the beginning, bro. So yeah, I'm excited, man. And like I said, it's an honor and pleasure, bro. So yeah,
dope, man. I appreciate you,
All
man.
right.
So, this was dope, man. I appreciate the opportunity, bro.
Absolutely. So yeah, this has been another episode of Masterminds. Please tap in with us and check it out. Every Thursday we have new episodes. You can check them out. The visuals on YouTube, and then you will see. You can listen to the audios wherever you listen. Wherever you listen to and find your podcast. So until next time, peace.
Let's go.